Welcome. We are about to hold an intention together. And I want to explain a little bit about how this whole process works because we're going to be making a statement that's called an intention and holding it for 10 minutes. We start by breathing together 3 times. The first time you hear the intention, let your imagination run wild. This intention is the new reality. And so you can imagine whatever comes to mind. You might see lights or colors or bouncing bubbles. It doesn't matter what it is. Just let your imagination play with it, seeing this as the new reality. 3 minutes later, I'll read the intention for the second time, and you bring it down from your mind into your heart. Surround the intention with love and continue to let images and thoughts and sounds and ideas come to you that are in alignment with this intention. It is the new reality. 3.5 minutes later, I'll read the intention for the final time, the third time. And at that point, you softly, gently release it to anyone who is ready to receive it. It is sent with love and gratitude. Now, the beautiful thing about supporting this intention is you actually receive that energy yourself 3 times as you are giving it out to other people. So it is very nourishing and healing for you too, even if you don't have the exact symptoms that we're talking about. So I invite you to join us. It's a wonderful, magical time. And at the end of the 10 minutes, we take turns describing what our experience was like and the messages and images and sounds that came to us. It's really interesting to see what shows up. All right, let's breathe together 3 times. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. In love and light, we hold the intention that everyone struggling with fear and despair is immediately, permanently, and completely filled with feelings of love, safety, and comfort in every moment. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In love and light, we hold the intention that everyone struggling with fear and despair is immediately, permanently, and completely filled with feelings of love, safety, and comfort in every moment. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In love and light, we hold the intention that everyone struggling with fear and despair is immediately, permanently, and completely filled with feelings of love, safety, and comfort in every moment. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We give thanks, and so it is. Oh man, that was a lot of energy. I really, really felt that. That was spectacular. Robin, would you like to start us off and describe what your experience was like? Maybe we lost Robin. Todd, would you like to unmute and describe what your experience was like?
Okay. I was brought back to a time in my life when indeed I, had years of chronic disease and all that stuff. And then I had, the trigeminal nerve thing, whatever that is. Your face drops and droops, and they really don't know what causes it, and they really don't know what it's going to do. Thank you. And basically, what I determined was, um, with a friend's help, you really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And so, with that information, I was able to um, start developing a plan and have some, see myself heal up from the thing over time. It's amazing to me how just the idea that they really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you might as well get doing something about it, can change the whole tenor of the way you think about it.
That is genius. Thank you for sharing that, Todd. That's really powerful. Robin, I can tell you're unmuted. Would you like to share what your experience was like?
Yeah. So immediately I just saw hearts, red hearts, just flowing. There's that one heart emoji or whatever that you push on Messenger, and just, you know what I mean? They were just flying up in the air. And then I felt like, well, then that Ho'oponopono, the psychiatrist, I remember the story about the psychiatrist in the whatever mental hospital, that I don't know what they call it now. And so many of the patients, he started doing that. So many of the patients were healed. And I'm sure that many of them were in fear and, in suicidal ideation prior to being drugged or whatever. And so that, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Maybe say that to him, or have him say that to himself or something over and over again. And there was something else. I gathered I hired the angels from the heaven and surrounded him with love. I feel like it just needs to be an enormous amount of love. And all of us sent him so much love. And I know that he feels it. Oh, I know what I saw then. I saw him saw a little violet popping up from the earth, only the first little violet. And that one flower made him smile. And that was all it took, was the crack, that one little thing that was beautiful to put your mind on. And that's what really needs to be done.
Oh, beautiful, Robin. That's really powerful. Thank you so much for bringing that in. That's really great. Angela, what about you? What was your experience like?
First, I saw golden glitter dust pouring down from the heavens, and it was finding the people who needed it, and so falling on them. And as it fell on them, it was collecting from them those negative thoughts. And then there was this big squarish headed nozzle that was vacuuming up, coming from space, vacuuming up all of the debris then that have been collected on those. And the second part I saw, I started focusing on the people that I know that are in that situation, but they started to find each other, and they were, when you have a sports game and they're all huddling with each other, but it was a bigger circle and they all had their arms around each other, and they were all like, I'm not alone, and I don't have to do this alone. And so and the circle just kept growing. And then the last part was all of us, and then more people joining us, and we were all holding hands with a golden thread that was going through all of our hands, and all around us the angels were supporting us from behind, and we were just sending out to anybody still who needed that.
Oh, beautiful. I love the imagery. That is amazing, Angela. Thanks for bringing that in. Wow. Peggy, your natural artistry. I know you always get some fabulous images. Whoops, there we go. What was your experience like?
I hope I can remember a lot of it. It was very fun. And so it began with a light rain over this country in many parts. And the people who needed the rain, which was colored with the colors of our chakras, the main colors. And so it was healing people like that. And it was a warm and a gentle rain. And people were loving that. And the meteorologists were just amazed and didn't know how to describe it. And more people were coming out of their houses. They were finding green patches of grass, whether in a clearing for a forest or a meadow or beside a street, where they would stand and just were being illuminated with a new sense of gratitude for being in the world. And this continued, and it spread, and it spread. And in other countries in different time zones, people were waking up with a newfound sense of wonder and awe at the beauty of life, and going outside and experiencing this healing rain. So it traveled and it went everywhere. And the meteorologists just kept on watching and going, oh.
I can see this rainbow colored rain coming down on everybody. That would be kind of surprising. That's amazing. I love the imagery, Peggy. That's great. Thank you for bringing that in. Dorji, we would love to hear what your experience was like.
I had the same experience as Peggy and Angela. I had anti-fear and feeling bad, dust go down on the earth and waking everybody up, and then everybody was told to go outside. Once they went outside, they were all grounded, and from the earth, they got love, they got all the security of the earth, and they were told not to fear. And one thing they were told also is, don't let the news affect you.
Yeah, so true. That is so true. Thank you, Dorji. I love the imagery. And it's very interesting because we do see commonalities. I had some experiences similar to some of you. So, Julie, let's keep the trend going. What was your experience like?
Oh my goodness, there was this wonderful story developing, and I was just watching and following lots of light, sprinkles of light, and it was like a rain, but it was like confetti, just really bright, yellow or golden. And then I saw these hands coming down and giving this little boy a gift, and it was called the golden egg. It had golden egg, and it had dots all over it, but then the dots turned into like crevices or holes where light was coming out. And the little boy was getting curious about, where is this light coming from? So he was excited and curious, and there was this like acceptance of the light, a gentle, loving, caring light. And so, like in kindergarten or someplace, they did this experiment where they give the little kids an egg and they have to take care of it. And so he got the sense that this egg was his life and he was going to take care of it. And he didn't have that realization before, but now all this light is enveloping him and he's really, oh, it's giving me goosebumps. Just instead of being in some kind of grief or something, it came as an outpouring of love. And just the egg kept getting bigger, and the light kept getting bigger, and he was more curious and joyful and felt warm and loved. And I'm still watching him in my mind's eye. But
That is so beautiful. You really, there's a children's story in that. And it's a children's story that would resonate with adults too. That is so beautiful, Julie. Yeah, you want to write that down because that's amazing. Melly,
I'm writing it out.
Good.
Yes.
Melly, we would love to hear from you as well, what your experience was like.
Well, mine, of course, was concentrated in one direction, and I seem to be so realistic in things that I think about. But he's only allowed to get one visitor at a time because of COVID. And so I had envisioned him, he had been sleeping and he opens his eyes and he's sort of looking around and he just can't believe how he feels. It's so different than the way he had felt before. He feels lighter. And then my friend came in to visit and he said, "I'm going to be okay, Mom. I am. I just have this feeling. I feel that everything's going to be okay." And of course she was crying. And he said that he wanted to be discharged because this place was sort of making him depressed. And everything seemed so much brighter, and he wanted to be outside in nature and smelling the smelling the air and feeling the cold weather, because he's in Boston. And he assured her that he's okay now. He is really okay now, and everything will be okay. And he thinks that with the doctor's advice, he will stop taking some of the medications that he had been taking, and will be getting the positive effects of that, because some of that medication makes you eat all the time and you gain weight and so on and so forth. And my final vision of him is down the road a bit, but seeing him as the young man that I remember.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful, Melly. Thank you for bringing that in. That's really wonderful. I had a lot of similar themes to what you guys had. I saw healing energy flowing down in gold and green. And it was like rain, but it was light. Have you ever noticed like light that bounces off of water and how it kind of ripples on the wall and makes this texture and pattern? It was like that, but it was coming down and going through all of us. And I also recently heard something that I thought was really profound. When you're in fear, it's all about you. When you're committed, it's about showing up as your highest self to help others, to be present for others. And so there was this whole shift out of fear and into commitment. And that felt really good, that shift from fear to commitment. And I also, I read so many different books. I was reading the Happiness Advantage. And in the book, he was talking about when the stuff hits the fan and you're having a difficult time, it's really important to acknowledge the emotions you're experiencing and label them. Actually, I am ticked off. I am not happy. This is bothering me a lot. I'm frustrated. I'm overwhelmed. You got to write it down. You've got to label it, because the emotional brain comes up and takes over. And until you listen to the emotional brain and say, yes, this is what I'm actually feeling, it won't relinquish control and let your logical mind come in. And so as soon as you start to acknowledge those emotions, you start to get proud of yourself. It's like, hey, I'm doing something positive for me. I'm actually labeling my emotions, and this is progress. This is the first step to solving the problem and getting into a different space. And so you can see how quickly your emotions can shift out of some unpleasant emotions into, I'm really proud of myself for taking action and supporting myself. Yay me. So I thought that was really cool. Ho'oponopono came in for me also, Robin. Thank you for bringing that in. I saw all of us doing Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Because I know one of the concepts behind Ho'oponopono is that if it is present in the universe anywhere, we are all contributing to make it so. And by using this prayer, we are cutting the ties to that old situation and releasing that out of reality so that we can create the new reality that we want. So I saw all of us all around the world. We were all doing Ho'oponopono together simultaneously and breaking the bonds of all of that old fear and despair, and it completely dissolved. I saw tons of angels flowing in and playing with us. The celebrations were really high and vibrant. I saw these building waves rippling out of love and comfort and delight and joy. And as it embraced one person, it would get a little bit bigger and then flow out to the next person and get a little bit bigger and flow out to the next person. Another thing that I heard recently that I thought was really interesting, the opposite of judgment is compassion. And with compassion is empathy. I really got that our job is to love people exactly where they are, exactly as they are. That is the best gift you can give anyone. And I saw all of us sending out blessing balls to everyone on the planet. And I saw this giant blessing ball encompass the entire earth, surround all of us with blessings. And another thing came through, and it was really funny, but for the people who have not experienced it, I know many of us have. We have a really great mentor, Deborah Poneman, and she's about to start her training called Yes to Success, where she teaches a lot of these energy techniques and success principles. And they have had a profound effect on my life. I know Peggy and Angela and Julie and Dorothy and I all met through Yes to Success. And so if anybody was interested in learning from Deborah, I can provide that information. It is a game changer because all of a sudden you have all these tools. So when you are feeling fear, when you are feeling despair, when you are struggling, you have a way out. And you've got a built-in community of people because our energy's all connected. And so we all bring each other up. Peggy, I encourage you to ping me anytime you're in bed in fear. I want you to ping me and remember that our energy is connected and I'm constantly beaming you infinite love and blessings, all of you.
It's the only time that ever happened.
And it's always an educational moment. Whenever that has come in, and you're so sensitive, you pick up on what the world is feeling. And so thank you for bringing that in because it gave us the opportunity to send love out to everyone who needs it, who's ready to receive it. Excellent. Wow. As always, a spectacular experience. Thank you so much for joining in today.
And
Absolute magic.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you
It's
so much for
magical.
helping.
Yeah. So pay attention to what shows up for you this week, because I bet you start feeling a lot of shifts going on, and the things that used to make you a little uncomfortable, a little nervous. Nope. You're going to move in with curiosity and love and commitment. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
you.
great
Next
week.
week.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.